Hello, everyone. I'm Tina, founder of Global Entrepreneurship Week and Global Entrepreneurship Network in Georgia. I'm very happy to welcome you to Global Entrepreneurship Week opening event. We're celebrating in Georgia already 10th times this year, and we're happy to join thousands of global campaigns globally. In more than 200 countries. This year, we decided to select the topic of connecting ecosystems, and we invited our friends from different countries in order to share with you interesting stories from Global Entrepreneurship Week and to speak about startup ecosystem. I would like to introduce you my colleagues from different countries who are leading global entrepreneurship networks and global entrepreneurship week campaigns. Katerina, who represents Global Entrepreneurship Week in Croatia. David, who is leading Global Entrepreneurship Network 886. He will explain this later to you. Michael, who is a champion of leading Global Entrepreneurship Week in Poland. Marcel represents Global Entrepreneurship Network in Switzerland. Steve representing Global Entrepreneurship Network in Thailand. And our dearest friend, Elaine, who is a chairperson and manager of a Global Entrepreneurship Network and Global Entrepreneurship Week in UK. So I'm really happy that you found a time. Everyone is so busy this time, and you would like to share with us your experience. So before we start this panel discussion, I would like first to say thanks to our partners in Georgia, Ilia State University, who is engaged very actively so many years in this process. And today we have representative Nana Dihamingia, who will speak about technology entrepreneurship after panel discussion. Thank you very much, Nana, for your huge engagement in this project. We are partnering this year with Fab Lab in Ilia State University, Entrepreneurs Association, and several media organizations, the Diary and Caucasus Business Week. I would like to thank to all of the partners, and also to say that during these 10 years, we gained a lot of experience in this process, and we had a lot of challenges as well. But finally, we are ready to go forward and to expand this campaign in Georgia. We can speak about this together when we discuss this process and our campaigns and our practices very soon. And I'm really looking forward to it. Before we start, I would like to invite Elaine in order to share, to say several words, opening remarks.
Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be amongst this group of people that I've known for, as Tina said, probably about 10 years. We've been involved working together with the global entrepreneurship movement. As you'll hear shortly from our president, Jonathan Ortmans, and you've heard from Tina already, this is a really large event. And over the years, we've each seen it grow. More countries join up, more people get involved. And from being just about celebrating 1 week, we're now celebrating throughout the year, and there are a lot of initiatives that each of the GEN countries are doing, and I'm sure you'll hear more about that when we have our discussion. This year, again, sort of building on from last year, most of us in all of our countries are really grappling with how we move forward with the economic recovery post the COVID situation in each of our countries. And for us in the UK, we are hosting COP26, as I'm sure you all know, and we all believe that the only way that we can achieve improvement in that terrible situation that's happening to our climate is through our innovation and through our entrepreneurs. So at GEN UK, we've got a workshop that's happening in Glasgow in COP26 and will be live streamed. And we've got a lot of cooperation from other climate change entrepreneurs throughout the globe. I'm going to close now. I'm sure I can tell you more about what we're doing with GEN UK when we have the panel discussion, but I just want to wish you all a really great Global Entrepreneurship Week. Let's move forward with a lot of optimism and really work together to bring about the change that we need for all sorts of reasons in our economies. Thanks, Tina.
Thank you very much, Elaine. So I'm really hoping to that maybe next year we can go back to the normal events and we can make again the some physical activities. But before that, I would like to invite our president and founder of Global Entrepreneurship Network and Global Entrepreneurship Week to share some introduction, to make introduction and share some opening, motivating speech with us related to Global Entrepreneurship Week. I will share now the video message of Jonathan Orthmans. Just 1 minute.
Welcome to Global Entrepreneurship Week 2021, where 200 nations will host campaigns to inspire more of their citizens to consider the path of entrepreneurship. This week, we'll have celebrities like Richard Branson inspiring more young people to follow in their footsteps. We'll have global institutions in our field like Endeavor hosting national campaigns around the world. And we'll have corporations like FedEx supporting this effort to try to engage more of our historically underrepresented groups in this exciting world of creating new value and giving opportunity to all. You know, when we started Global Entrepreneurship Week with the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation in 2008, we had a different mission. We set about explaining to the world and showing to the world that Silicon Valley had no monopoly on entrepreneurship. Well, it appears that we have succeeded in that mission. We now have many, many nations embracing this as a primary driver, not just of job creation, but of generating opportunity for more of their citizens. And in fact, recently on the eve of Global Entrepreneurship Week, we released the Global Startup Ecosystem Report with our partner and very talented team at Startup Genome. There's so much in that report to take a look at, but let me point out a couple of facts that were indicative of the message I'm trying to convey today. It is extraordinary to me to see that in 2020 alone, so just in 1 year, we've seen a 55% increase in the size of the total value of the top 100 emerging entrepreneurial ecosystems. They now generate more than $540 billion. We're also seeing 91 of those ecosystems able to boast having created a unicorn. As we look at the success, though, there is still a lot of work to be done. We are facing massive problems, climate change, recovering from this global pandemic, and so much more. And in these uncertain and unpredictable times, it is our entrepreneurs that are vital to the future success of our society. Unlike many of us who get scared and frightened during these times, it is our entrepreneurs that actually thrive on uncertainty and on these situations. When someone comes in and pushes the reset button and shakes up all the rules, all of a sudden there are hundreds of thousands more possibilities, many more solutions to test, and much work to be done. So we need to have more entrepreneurs in the world, people with the aptitude but also with the courage and the resilience to try to help us innovate our way and navigate our way through challenges such as this pandemic. It is our entrepreneurs that we are focusing on this week, and I'm so proud to say we will make it all about them, whether it's in Kansas City where there's 100 or more events, or whether it's across the globe via Zoom. It is important to say that this week we will be announcing the top 25 entrepreneurs from around the world out of 100,000 that entered the Entrepreneurship World Cup. I encourage you to take a look at these entrepreneurs, look at their story, look at why we picked them in a highly competitive field of so many people. They're indicative, they're great examples to us all of what can be accomplished when you come up with an idea, test it with a team, and figure out a new way of doing things which doesn't just benefit you, but also benefits your community and your fellow citizens. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved in this campaign, to all of our national hosts around the world, our thousands of partners, the hundreds of thousands of volunteers, and of course, I'd like to thank the staff at GEN Global and our teams for all the hard work and passion they've put into this year's campaign. I hope you will join us. If you can't find anything at gec.co that participate in locally, join us on social media at hashtag GEW 2021. Happy Global Entrepreneurship Week.
So we can continue or start our panel discussion with sharing experiences, your global experiences related to Global Entrepreneurship Week, and later to continue with sharing our experiences related to startup ecosystem. Let's start with Katerina. So what is your experience? You are so many years involved in Global Entrepreneurship Week. So how it's going? What are the challenges, or what are the best practices in Croatia building Global Entrepreneurship Week?
Well, thank you, Tina, for inviting me to this extraordinary launching event. And I'm very happy to see my dear friends from other countries tonight, or today, or this morning. We are various time differences. Well, first, I'm the volunteer for 27 years and entrepreneur for 30 years. And I traveled through all those journeys in the country where we had a war in 1991 to 1994-5. And I just started my company in 1991 because many of us were left without jobs at that time. And I found out that my negotiation skills and international knowledge helped me to start to work with an entrepreneur from a neighboring country, Slovenia. I was representing him to Italian company to get some benefits for his businesses. So at that moment, I really understood that entrepreneurship is something where we have to go and where the future is, and that only courageous people and those who really have some vision and idea to change something, to bring some new services to the market, will endeavor all the challenges through the years to come. So it was briefly some kind of the start, where I understood that I have to learn, that I have to go to conferences, to presentations, to promotions. So the another trigger point was when my friend, professor from Faculty of Economy in Zagreb, had a promotion of his book, because he was a UCLA professor. And the book was about entrepreneurship and the management in entrepreneurship in 1997. So after that, my path was really clear. I wanted to give my time, to give my knowledge, to give my experience, whatever it was in such a small number of years as an entrepreneur, to help others who are just tracing the path. And my way put me on the track to European Commission already in 1998. So from that start, I learned a lot. I got many tools to work in Croatia, to start initiatives to bring the law for SMEs in Croatia, etc., to organizing, being National Counselor for Europe at an area, a matchmaking 2 days event for entrepreneurs from all over the world. We were 78 countries. So I was used to speak, to talk, to be with the global community. And after that, another initiative was European Day of the Entrepreneur, which in Croatia, I started in 2004 with a mentor in Brussels that brought me to the week of entrepreneurs, the celebrating entrepreneurship with all the stakeholders, presidents, prime ministers, ministers, etc., to the collaborating and mentoring 18 cities in a row to organize events throughout Croatia and mentoring Slovenian city to start this event in Slovenia. So that brought me to GEW because I was in a meeting in Brussels where were the guys from London, and I was listening about the week they celebrated in UK, which was amazing. And that was matched with Kaufman Foundation and turned to GEW with a really great vision, which I admire, to Jonathan Ortmans and whole of the team, Mark Ortmans and many others. So from that vision, which is an entrepreneurial mindset, you can do incredible things, you can do whatever you want, and you can achieve great results. So he was, and the team, the greatest motivators ever, who brought so many people around the idea, including me. So we started GEW in 2008 and collaborating with many stakeholders around the country. Not so many events as in bigger countries and cities, but I think that they are respectful because the most powerful institutions, universities and local communities and ministers were involved in all those events. And I'm proud that one of the organizers in Osijek University Faculty of Economy is organizing this event all of those years, and they are celebrating it all over the city. So in Croatia, there are a lot of activities, not so many as I would like to see, but let us be patient in the future. I think it could be more even due to this pandemic time. So to conclude this, what I wanted to point out is that you have to have an entrepreneurial mindset to go no matter what is, and you can achieve whatever you want. You have failures, you fall down, you have to give up, stand up, you have to turn to other way around. And somebody said when a door or a window is shut somewhere, the window or door another is opened. So this is what I would like to stress. And the mentors, of course, are very, very important. And as Jonathan is, and Elaine and Steve and all of you guys whom I know for so many years, I believe that you are the greatest persons in the world, the greatest motivators, the greatest people dedicated to the goal, which means entrepreneurship, which I say at the end of the day, think small first.
Thank you very much, Katerina, for this motivating speech. I actually want to briefly share with you my story, how I started, how I was engaged with the Global Entrepreneurship Network in 2012. So actually before that, I was for years working in a corporate world, and it was like something very, very much different and unknown field for me. It happened very, very accidentally that I started communicating with GEN, and I had a very big passion and motivation to start this project in Georgia. But at that time, I actually had a corporate job, but it was like a start for me of my entrepreneurial journey. And after that, I never got back to corporate world since 2012. And that was like GEN created my entrepreneurial career. That was kind of starting for me. And I would like to continue this career further as well, and to try some different. It has a lot of opportunities. So I like where I am, and I would like to expand it further. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity. We can welcome Yatin. We have a very active player. So I hope I can present you properly if I say that you represent GEN India, or you have different title as well. Yatin, hello.
Hello.
Hi, well, GEN India is good, and also chair for GEN Asia.
Okay, so chair for GEN Asia and director for GEN India. Okay, so I would like to invite now to share experience our dearest friend Elaine, who is a chair and director of GEN UK. So what is your story of Global Entrepreneurship Week, and what are the some experiences what you would like to share with us related to Global Entrepreneurship Week?
Okay, thank you again. Many of you I met for the first time when I actually wasn't representing GEN UK. I was actually the host for GEW Qatar, and I was host for GEW Qatar for a number of years before coming back to the UK. And so it's been quite a privilege for me to see not only the week grow, as we mentioned before over the years, but to see it from different countries' perspective. And Qatar, as you will know, is a very small country. So therefore, organizing the week's activities was a lot easier than it is in the UK. It was a much smaller ecosystem, and it was very easy to get the major stakeholders around the table. We had a great board representing the corporate sector, representing education, and representing the entrepreneurs themselves and the public sector. My experience of GEW in the UK is working with a very mature and very diverse ecosystem. And we've all experienced challenges over the last 2 years of not being able to meet in person for GEW. Us guys, we've not met together for 2 years now, and looking forward to the next time. But same is true for our entrepreneurs. This year for the UK, there are more face-to-face meetings happening. For us in GEN UK, we really wanted to build a community, and this started our thinking of building an online community, and fortunately we launched our online community before COVID hit at the beginning of 2020. So we've now got a very growing and enthusiastic online community, and we've been able to live stream our events throughout GEW last year, and we're doing so this year. Not all of them, of course, but a number of them are being streamed through the hub. So that's a kind of quick sort of overview of what's going on in GEN UK and my perspective of the 2 different countries that I've worked in with it.
Thank you very much, Elaine, for your experience. I would like to go to Michael now. Michael, so you are a real champion of Global Entrepreneurship Week because you managed successful campaigns. You managed to grow campaign, and that's really really great experience. So I would like to share with us what was your strategy and how you were able to grow this campaign in your country.
Okay, thank you very much for this really nice words for me and the Polish team. I'm really happy to be with you and see you after the COVID pandemic, and I'm really happy that we are still in the good condition, and we are still working because this was for us big change. So I joined to Global Entrepreneurship Week when I was in the high school. I was 17 and I did my first event in my hometown. But after that, I joined to Global Entrepreneurship Foundation in Warsaw, who this like a foundation take care about like a Global Entrepreneurship Week around the Poland. And the project exists in Poland, I think that 14 years, but the first 7 years was like only in Warsaw, and the foundation was doing only like around 10-20 events. And after that, we decided to scale this project. And in the best moment before the pandemic, we had around 2,000 events and 100 partners. So this was like a big numbers, but I'm still analyze how we did it and what was the best like a trigger for this, because this was like a really success, and me and my team was doing this after hours. We was like a volunteer, and we still are volunteer. So I think like the best thing what we did was the network or the region coordinator. I think that it's really important to connect people who know like some region better than you. If you're like based in Warsaw, big in the big city, live in the big city, it's like difficult for you to understand the needs, for example, or smaller city or some village. So I think that important in this project is like talking with people, find people with the new perspective, and also create things who are like more inclusive. So the first thing was like the network of regional coordinators, and this was like we find like organization, public institution, but also some company on NGOs who have like a similar goals for support entrepreneurship, and we connect them, and we connect some network who now working really well with some coordinators. We are working from the beginning. They are like really active. They invest their time and also the money, and they care about the region network. But the second thing is technology, and I think that it's really important to not do things for the people, but create the resources of material for them so they can try to do things themselves. So this is like really important. And it's also like for me, what like was my for me was like a really, when we, for example, we create like the system of website, was also like an inclusion that it should be easy, for example, for the student, but also for the senior citizens, also for the people from the business. I think that the inclusion is like the strongest things what we did in Poland, and that's why we can make this umbrella for many events during the 1 week. So yeah. And the last things for when I analyze how we did is asking about self. Katarina say a lot about giving things, but I think that if you want to be in like a entrepreneurship ecosystem and we want to create it, we have to also asking about help and use help from each other people. For example, if you have some resources and you can give something to the others, you can also think what you need and what you do to like do better your things and who can help you. And for example, in our case was region coordinated, but also like a company who make like a good system to registration, because we have like during this 3 years, we have 3 fuck up with the system. And when we ask about help, the company who doing the platform for the events really professional, we had more time for the partners, for the sponsor, and we don't have to care about the system because someone helped to us. So I think that the really important is asking also about help and using like a knowledge from other people.
Okay, thank you very much. And what's really interesting is that you were doing this voluntarily, right? And you were able to have a huge success even doing this volunteer way. So I will get back to you later, and I will invite now to share experience Yatin. So how is your experience related to Global Entrepreneurship Week in Asia or in India? Whatever you would like to share. And one important question is how you are motivating partners who are involved in organizing process.
Thank you, Tina. So, hi everyone. Good to see all of my friends on a single window. Wishing you all a very happy GEW. So there's a lot happening at our end. I can talk more from the Indian experience. I'm pretty sure Steve and Devin can add about their respective countries. But for us, what has happened over the years is entrepreneurship has become very mainstream, primarily because the Prime Minister has been pushing the whole agenda about starting up, and he launched the campaign Startup India. We saw all the states adopting to newer startup policies and coming up with their own programs to basically inspire people to get started. So for us, the way things have carved out over the last, I would say, 8-9 years is that the government has made incubators more mainstream, and they have started funding incubators, and a lot of these incubators are in educational institutions, and they have started taking entrepreneurship as a serious subject. So what we did, we basically just went behind most of these incubators or entrepreneurship support organizations. We have made them our partners, and basically whatever movements which they have been running at the grassroots level during this week, we just align it all. It's one common cause. We talk one language, which is supporting and inspiring people to start up, motivating people to be entrepreneurs. And at GEW, we try to highlight some of the success stories and cover up some of the future subjects, which would be of importance to the future founders. And all of these grassroots partners are motivated themselves to be a partner of a larger cause, because they feel connected to a much broader global movement. Hence, that was a motivating factor to onboard more and more partners with us. So being the government, being the support of the, having the support of the government, being able to partner up with incubators which are now existing in almost every corner of the country, and through them reaching out to the grassroots community has been our strategy.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I guess your ecosystem was ready for this to be engaged in this, because it was there were a lot of stakeholders. In our case, we are for example, in Georgia, we are a small community. It's a small country actually, and our community is developing fast, the entrepreneurial community, but it's still very small. So challenges that so we need to convince people to be engaged. And when ecosystem is already developed, you don't need a lot of effort to explain and to motivate them. Like as it's a bigger ecosystem in India, I guess it's more opportunities to make a large campaign. But I'm really learning from you as well, and I would like to learn from your experiences, your best practices, and to use it in our case to expand our campaign in Georgia. But again, I think it also depends on a number of stakeholders, or how large is the ecosystem or the potential of its development process.
So for that, what I would say, what happened with us 10 years back or 9 years back when we started GEWs, basically, I think I hosted my first GEW event in 2013, which was 8 years back. And from there till now, the difference is at that point, I barely had 10, 12 partners. Okay, there were people across spectrum, but they were, everyone was trying to understand entrepreneurship. 8 years later, thanks to a new government, progressive government, which also supported entrepreneurship, today entrepreneurship and startup has become mainstream, and it has become a subject. Once it becomes a state subject, things change a lot, right? And as a state subject, clear once the central government in a country like India, where you have about 30 states, if the prime minister is talking about startups and is asking people to start up, automatically the 30 state governments, the federal governments also start speaking the same language. And in these last 8 years, we also saw a massive startup revolution because we attracted global investment into India. So we have seen tons of unicorns coming out of India, especially post-pandemic. I think in 2021, we have seen, I think, between 25 or 30 unicorns. You know,
wow.
So India was producing 3 unicorns every 3 years or every 2 years earlier. But 2020 was pretty good, where we produced about 10 or 12, and we are already at the record level at this point of time. So when you see investments floating in, when you see startups reaching a unicorn valuation, and when the exits or more fund infusion happens, automatically the ecosystem starts developing, because the employees, the founders who are part of these unicorns actually start reinvesting their money into the ecosystem. They start looking for opportunities to invest, and they support other founders. And all the investors who keep making exits at different levels, they also keep infusing capital into the system, because that's how they are making money. So for us, that traction which we were able to build in India helped us kind of build the startup movement more heavily, and that also caught the attention of the government. And then obviously all the activities what we do become ancillary support activities, and they become important because every year, if you have so many founders who are successful and their employees are successful, it becomes easier for you to bring them on different forums and motivate other people to either launch a startup or work for a startup and share their experiences. And that allowed us to kind of talk about entrepreneurship, just not during this week, but throughout the year, and engage with partners throughout the year.
That's really interesting fact that you have so much unicorns, kind of you're competing with Silicon Valley or whatever. In our country, for example, the government is very active as well, and we have an innovation and technology agency who is doing a lot of great things, and it's a really biggest organization supporting startups, and they have different type of funding. So our startup ecosystem is evolving as well, but we are just a very small country, and communities also very small. So we need some time to get to you.
We produced
to have the
33
25 unicorns.
We gave birth. I mean, basically 33 Indian startups entered the Unicorn Club in 2021, all alone.
Yeah.
We started with 1 in Jan, then 2 in Feb, about 8 in April, and in August we saw like 7 of them. So it's like the number has been growing. Now it has become.
Are they? What are the main fields of these unicorns? Are you getting investments from foreign investments, or it's a local investments basically? If you know.
Well, it's both. It is money is coming from all sides: foreign investment, local investment. Celebrities are putting in money. Serial founders, serial entrepreneurs are putting in money, or like successful founders are putting in money on new ventures. So basically, the money is being poured into India from all angles, and thanks to pandemic, there are certain economies which have blocked themselves, and that money is also being invested into India because it's such a large economy. We all are just watching this trend. It is unbelievable. No one has seen this kind of upward trend anywhere. And Indians have definitely not seen this kind of infusion. I'm talking about 33 unicorns, imagine the number of startups which are raising $1 million, $2 million, $5 million. That number is insane, right? Like, so today, even the smallest of the smallest startup at an early stage is starting up with $1 million valuation. I remember like 8 years, 9 years back, when we used to look at companies, putting a valuation of $150,000 to $200,000 was a big thing. And putting in $20,000 of seed capital for 10% equity was a big thing. Today, putting in $100,000, $150,000 in a single check has become super normal. There's a lot of risk capital which we have seen coming out during the pandemic. We don't know, maybe it's capital consolidation which has happened. It's digitization of businesses. Most of the businesses they are across sectors, but they are digital businesses. So like digital insurance agency, or a concierge service, or a blue-collar workforce service, a lot of edtech companies benefiting in the pandemic, a lot of fast-moving retail e-com companies, right? Like now, yesterday I was learning about a company which says that you can get groceries in 10 minutes. That's their USP. Like they're leaving behind Amazon Fresh or anyone. Says that you place the order, 10 minutes, you'll have it at your door. That's crazy. That's real revolution, right? Like they are using tech, they are using the existing infrastructure to make things possible. And like in 10 minutes, that's like unheard of. You don't even know how they pick it up, how they package it, and how they deliver in 10 minutes. So that's so those are the kind of things which we are seeing in India, and everyone is getting engaged in the ecosystem. So if you want to fulfill an order or have a supply chain which delivers in 10 minutes, you got to use resources around you. So if I'm ordering something, it is coming from somewhere close by to me. That means someone is definitely doing business with this organization to work. So automatically there is active interest of the local stakeholders, of a common man in the startup ecosystem, because it is benefiting them.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I guess we can learn a lot. We can learn a lot from your experience, from Indian experience. And now let's listen to David's experience, GEN 886, and he has a time. You have a time now to share a story of this 886 as well.
Hi, everybody. It's so good to see everybody, familiar faces, new friends. And then this is David. I'm based in Taipei, and right now it's 1:30 or 1 something. So it's definitely morning. And talking about grocery delivery that Yatin just mentioned, recently here, we have a Korean big company doing a startup here. You can actually get fresh crabs and grocery in 50 minutes. And then the catch is there's no delivery fees. As soon as they announced, you will see two big local, brick and mortar store announce merger acquisition. So this is what digital is doing to this beautiful places. We are 27 million people. And I want to take a chance to thank Steve in Thailand. And actually, I think Thailand has been a catalyst in building of GEN Asia, at least bringing a different thought leader together. We're very happy to announce that, over here, we will actually have our Minister of Digital next year. So this is actually a learning cases from Steve, where I first learned about there's actually a Minister of Digital 4 or 5 years ago in Thailand. And I hope that, Steve, you can kind of touch upon on how you and your government and have helped us to build GEN Asia. Talking about the ecosystem here, the GEW started about 12 years ago. And this week we celebrate more than 50 events. In this region, we have about 16 ministry doing more than 48 entrepreneurship related initiatives. So sometimes people joke around that there are more programs and incubators than entrepreneur. Well, if we take a positive light, you can see that doing a startup right now is more than just fashion. It's actually mainstream. A lot of schools are actually turning their incubator and working with a smaller accelerator like us. Back 10 years ago, you would have about 100 school incubator. Right now, that number has decreased to about 20. And then about 5 years ago, the Small Medium Administration, the SMEA, under the Ministry of Economy, has actually made a big shift about how do we create a sustainable business model for incubator, for accelerator. And that was when we were invited. That was also the same time that I learned about GEN Global. I still remember that all of us, familiar faces, we met in Seoul in Korea, not really knowing what is GEN. And I think that was only the second year. 3 years ago, I think, we were working with the government and with Jonathan. We're so happy that we hosted GEC plus Taipei. And that is, I think, the moment that we really think that even though we're a small island, we can really make an impact. Due to COVID, we see a big drastic changes. The government has shut down borders, but we repeat a record high of GDP. Everybody kind of heard about the story of the TSMC, the #1 foundry. We never know that TSMC will actually set up a plant in US. We never know that TSMC actually is going to set up a plant in Japan. All this supply chain has actually created a new trend of IoT startup fueling into Taiwan, fueling into this part. So we have a lot of startup IoT coming here to actually change their supply chain so that they are more compliances, be able to export their product to country like US or Europe. That's something that we never thought because the trade war between a few giant countries. I think we are lucky. We're very lucky. We have in this part of the world, we probably reported the lowest cases of COVID. Before the outbreak this May, we were actually live as usual. We didn't need to wear a mask for about 1.5 years. And although we had a big outbreak about in May, the government quickly acted, took measures. And then I think hopefully in about a month, we will be mask free and everybody's getting vaccine. All these things are we never thought that would happen. But one thing that is common, entrepreneurship didn't stop. We have changed a shift of startup company used to go to US to fundraise. And now we see actually startup going to Japan to be listed. This is something that we never thought would happen. In fact, this week, we are organizing Startup Hub Japan, three vibrant cities from Tokyo, Fukuoka, and Okinawa, working with us as an outsider to coordinate Japanese cities doing a pitch demo event themselves to welcoming entrepreneurs around the world in Asia. And then we're hosting. This is something that you never thought. Well, this is a grace to COVID, because our neighbor Japan, they were not able to travel to Taipei for 2 years straight, attending the big Meet Taipei. So us helping them to get market insight and then continue working together as a brother and sister to connect, along with the great thing that Yeton has did, along with other members with GEN Asia. This is only possible with one common goal, is to unleash the power of entrepreneurship. So this is David out of Taipei. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David, for this amazing experience sharing with us. And I really wish you to continue this great job in your country and in whole Asia and in Japan as well. Now I will go back to Europe and invite Marcel to share with us his experience about Switzerland. Marcel represents Global Entrepreneurship Network's director, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, good evening to everybody. I think I don't want to repeat much who has been already said. I took some notes coming from Elaine regarding mentoring and community, and I think this is what we do in Switzerland primarily, community building, because I always say we in Switzerland, we have a great challenge that the need of becoming an entrepreneur is quite small because we have high paying jobs. So I would say the ecosystem is a little bit less willing to take on the risk of being an entrepreneur. Global Entrepreneurship Week already happened since 10 years, which is quite impressive. It started with the University of Geneva. They were very active. I think this year we have around 30 events. And to my own pity, we only have nothing in the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, because that's the second challenge of such a small country with 4 languages. And this was said by Michael from Poland, that we also do it with local coordinators. Our, let's say, success factor is that we got engaged with kind of the impact hubs all over Switzerland, because they know the ecosystem better. Something also we heard from Poland, GEN Poland was the give and ask. So this is, of course, GEN is a non-profit in Switzerland, this association, but we, as all other countries, we don't have much resources, so it's all voluntary. Even in Switzerland, the resources are limited, which always is quite astonishing. This year, maybe the highlight is the Global Entrepreneurship Gala, which we have in Basel. We expect around 200, 250 physical participants, and we celebrate us as entrepreneurs. And I think celebration is also one of the GEN key pillar, and competition, and of course celebration. And I think after these 2 years of challenges, it's just nice to get together and see the people again. Personally, what I am, let's say, where I see the USP of GEN is really the global setup. I'm helping currently 8 companies in 8 countries, from Japan over to Estonia, Finland, Latvia, Switzerland, Germany. So with the support of GEN, I can really get fast track access to a country. For example, I have a team in Armenia. If I need something in Georgia, I of course reach out to you, Tina. And this is, I think, the value add. And here is also some of the downside. I believe all the people here in the call, we could do much more in terms of synchronization, collaboration. And of course, COVID didn't make it more easy because we haven't had the chance to meet each other at the Global Entrepreneurship Congress. I think now what is very positive, and I think out of 10 factors from COVID, 8 are positive. One is that we are ready now for a digital world, let's say. Zoom meetings are common, and nevertheless, of course, physical meetings are needed. And this is something what I would love for GEN in the future, that we can really scale up on this, on a virtual level, connecting the countries, something what you initiated tonight. So that said, I'm happy to be here, and if somebody needs something in Switzerland, I'm happy to help. That's the only thing I can offer. And
That's
what we
great.
also hear, people need to ask. That's the thing. Sometimes founders are very, very much, it needs to be structured asking, of course. If they just call, okay, I want to expand in Switzerland, I can say, okay, can you be more specific? But I'm happy to help. And I guess all of the people we hear in this Zoom call are happy to help in their countries.
Marcel, thank you very much for this honest and motivating speech. And I'm really happy that you are with us today. And your offer was also really great about cooperation, about support each other, and your offer about your support in Switzerland. And at the end of the day, we are a network ready to support each other, and that's what matters a lot. And so I'm really happy to be with you, to connect it with you guys. So I would like to invite now Steve from Thailand. Steve represents GEN Thailand to share with us his experience. Steve, floor is yours.
Thank you, Tina. It's nice to meet all of you again, even though online. But the experience of GEW Thailand started 10 years ago in 2011. And our first event, some of you may already know this, was we had 3 months of floods. So GEW in Thailand was basically going on big lorries and boats delivering food packages to 2,000 families. That's how we started GEW. And throughout the years, we have ups and downs trying to get people to partner with GEW, because many perception is that being a nonprofit organization, we should come with funds and grants to help local situations. Unfortunately, this was the perception that we had to overcome. Over the years, we managed to get quite a lot of support. And David has mentioned in the past, we have Dr. Pichet, the former Minister of Digital Economy. He has been very supportive. And we've done some international events in Thailand. So that's good for that. And Yatin, congratulations. India has produced a lot of unicorns. Thailand, up to the date, until last week, we only got 3 unicorns. But most of the investments in unicorns are actually by Thai investors. So I think it's mostly playing to the local market, whereby they can see the opportunities and they're familiar with the situation. And I think also in terms of scale, most of the investment coming to Asia goes to Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Malaysia. Actually, very few investment goes into Thailand as from foreign investments. I like to announce a couple of new things that we're doing this year. we have started a few years ago. In 2019, I visited Elaine in London. Elaine took me around, and I had the good fortune of having tea at Buckingham Palace. And we had a joint arrangement with Buckingham Palace to do pitch at Palace in Bangkok. So what happened was that we did a competition called Pitch at Palace ASEAN, whereby the winner actually gets to go to St. James Palace to pitch. Now, so we were fortunate to have the Duke of York to come for this event. But something very interesting happened during that event. I invited one of the top schools to attend the Pitch at Palace, and these were high school students between 13 and 17. They saw, for the first time, they saw a pitching competition. And then they came out and became very excited about it. And then it dawned on to me that of all my years working with, pitching competitions, I have never seen any pitching done at the school level. Okay? And in my conversation with the Duke of York, he asked me one question, which stirred me on to starting a new program. And the question was, what was the challenges you face in promoting entrepreneurship in Thailand? And my answer was this: the problem I face is actually, the main problem is entrepreneurial mindset. Because I see a lot of these, we all see a lot of pitch. And a lot of these people, young people who pitch their ideas, are quite set in their own ways. And you try to tell them, this doesn't work, that doesn't work, you have to do things better. Most of them will just nod their head and they do nothing. In other words, at their age, up at university or after, most of them, a good number of them will think, I'm grown up now, I know better. So we realized that we need to start introducing critical thinking and logical thinking, problem-solving ability at the school level, because at the school level, they still actually listen to the teachers, at least in Asia they do. So we started a program called Pitch at School. Pitch at School has turned out quite well. We've got the ministry involved. We even got accreditation from the Diplomatic Council. So in fact, on Wednesday, we have a Pitch at School demo day at one of the schools. They'll be attended by 5 ambassadors. And they'll be talking about entrepreneurial mindset education and cross-border collaboration. One of the ideas about Pitch at School is that we want to bring unique experiences at the school level. We knew that we are not an education institution. We are not here to teach them about entrepreneurship, which is, by the way, is part of it. We are more here to give them unique experiences, be able to pitch. We have arrangement with the UK, with Peter Jones Foundation, looking into bringing students from Asia to pitch at Hampton Court Palace, maybe in the summer. We made arrangements maybe in Malaysia to actually go and pitch at one of the royal palaces in Malaysia. And we're working with China, Tsinghua University, to do the same in China and a few other countries. So we realized that parents and schools want to have unique experience. So we are starting and focusing on entrepreneurial mindset education. And we are partnered with the top university in Thailand, Chulalongkorn University. So this is an exciting project. Now, why are the ambassadors coming for the event? Because we have a program called International Startup Pairing Program, whereby students in Thailand will want to pair up with students in other countries, in Switzerland, Croatia, Georgia, India, to work together. Okay? We're already talking to the South Indian government, Kerala Startup Mission, about students pairing up. We're talking to the UK and a few. So next year, we are looking at more collaboration at the students level. And the winners from the different countries will be invited to come to Thailand for the competitions, to join in the competition. So this is a new initiative that we will be launching, and we are very interested to work with different countries. So I think this year, We have a lot of interest. We're starting to have a lot of renewed interest. We've got about 30 partners, about almost 30 events happening, most of them online. But we have this physical meeting, the only physical meeting that we have, and we will be live streaming it. So I invite you to join that on our Facebook if you can as well. So anyway, it's been great. Been a great journey, and I can see a lot more, interesting things to come, and I can see a lot more collaboration. So this is my update on the GEW Thailand.
Thank you very much, Steve, for your great experience, for sharing with us your story. And I really wish you a lot of success with the new campaign you started. Maybe we can also cooperate in the future with that. I would like to thank you to all of you for your participation and for your engagement. And I really wish you a great Global Entrepreneurship Week. And I hope that we can continue our firm cooperation in the future after Global Entrepreneurship Week as well, to connect the ecosystem. That's our mission, right? The mission of the Global Entrepreneurship Week and Global Entrepreneurship Network, to share, to network, to connect. And that's what we have to do. That's what we are intending to do. Happy Global Entrepreneurship Week, and thank you very much again. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Good night, everybody. Good morning.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Good morning. I would like to invite now our speaker from Ilia State University and our partner, Nana Dihaminjia. As I mentioned, Ilia State University is very actively engaged in Global Entrepreneurship Week project already years. And personally, Nana, I really admire you, Nana. So you have so great experience and you are so motivated to inspire young girls and women and youth actually to engage them in entrepreneurial activities, to teach them technologies and innovations. So we are really happy to have you today here, and thank you very much for this. So floor is yours now to share with us your great experience related to this. And the main topic Nana will speak with us today is technology entrepreneurship, women technology entrepreneurship. Nana, floor is yours.
Tina, thank you very much for presenting me in these very kind words. And thank you for your, because you're organizing all this Global Entrepreneurship Week every time, and you're doing so much for developing entrepreneurship in Georgia. And thanks for giving me the floor today. Hope the Global Entrepreneurship Week in Georgia will be very successful. I know different organizations are putting their own share into it. So I will talk very shortly about what situation is related to women tech entrepreneurship and how different programs are helping to improve this situation. I'm Nana Dihaminjia. I am director of the Center of Technology and Innovation at Ilia State University, and at the same time, I'm professor of computer engineering. So for me, it's a very painful and important topic. So if we look into the, you see my screen very well, right?
Yes.
Check, yeah. So if we look into statistics about women in startups in general, worldwide, it's increasing from 2009, from just to 2019, we have already from 10% to 20% increase, but still it's not enough. So basically the share of global startups with at least one female founding member doubled between these years. But in the same proportion, but in 2019 it was the same proportion and before. And during pandemic, it was even more difficult for women to go into entrepreneurship and startup because of lockdown, and because usually worldwide, mostly women take this load of family caring. And we have worse situation in tech entrepreneurship, because here you need also tech skills or tech, passion, and we still lack girls and women in tech. So, for example, in US tech sector, workforce is still dominated by men, and computer science degrees are earned only by 19%, only 90% are women, and just 20 years ago, it was 27%. So it's actually decreasing instead of increasing. And according to the data from the NSF, more women now than ever are earning STEM degrees, and a lot of women are going to biology, for example. There sometimes we even in Georgia, we have more women in biology programs than, more girls in biology programs than men, but we still have no more than 20% in tech, in IT, engineering, and computer science. And what we can do in this direction. Here, I just want to mention several programs which are now carried out by different organizations in Georgia, who help to develop the skills of girls and women in IT and tech, and in addition helps them to bring them to entrepreneurship entrepreneurship field. So, for example, this is very interesting program. This is a joint project of Georgian American University, GeoLab, and Khan's Academy, which is, it's called We Tech, and it's financed by USAID Economic Security Program, and it's basically a 6 months program for women. It's called Digitalize Your You, so it's basically a platform for women to learn different IT skills, to get different IT skills, like, for example, graphic design or website development, and then use these skills to digitalize their startups or their business, like small business programs. Also, BTU also is doing Business and Technology University, is doing coding school for women. They have several programs, and one of them is Universal Employee Training Program, FemTech, which is that will train women in iOS development or UX UI development, financial management, and fundraising. And this was funded by US Embassy Democracy Commission Small Grants Program. So this kind of programs also help women to develop their startups. There are also very interesting programs funded by European Commission or UN Women and other international organizations who are directed to mitigating like difficult economic circumstances caused by pandemic, and create new opportunities for employment and self-employment of representatives of vulnerable social groups, among them women. For example, this program, which was funded by European Commission and is carried out by Innovative Education Foundation, it trains women and people also with disabilities and representatives of other affected social groups in digital competencies, and equips them with a business idea development and marketing communication skills. They had similar program 2 years ago, and actually I have already seen how it was. The previous program was for 100 women, and I have a lot of them in my Facebook friends group, and I see usually how they developed their communities or their business with this newly equipped digital skills. And finally, I will move to the programs of Ilia State University, which I represent For example, it was very interesting, the program funded by US Embassy last year, Engineering School for High School Girls, where 150 girls learned electronics, basics of electronics, and also how to code. And then they participate in different projects, in different like startup competitions. And they worked, actually, when we started, a lot of girls that weren't sure what to choose as a future profession. But when we finished this, it was 3 months programs. And out of this 150 girls, 100 got, each of them got one Autobot to work with them at home and continue learning through digital platforms. And when we finished, a lot of girls from this group, they decided to choose career in IT or computer science or engineering. And all these programs which I mentioned here, it's especially, I should emphasize that they're done during pandemic. So even we had, like all the universities and organizations, we had to rearrange the program. So we still achieved results even using online platforms and communications. Also, what we did, it was Tech Girls Georgia. So this program was actually carried out by German organization, by Georgians in Georgian diaspora in German, and it was funded by GIZ. We were partners. So 25 girls went through tech entrepreneurship and coding camps, and they established tech clubs in Tbilisi and in Akhmeta, and they continue doing community education projects to give the same skills to their peers. And we are also starting now by funding of British Council, again, Creative Spark, Women Tech Hub, where 60 girls, 60 female students will be trained in tech entrepreneurship, in some digital skills like web development, app development, social media marketing, and graphical design. And they will help 6 women-founded startups to digitalize their startups and equip with everything like what is necessary to improve the startups and go to get better funding and investment. And currently also, this project will start soon. I encourage all the girls participate into that. And also this is a project which is already started by Total Courage. This is for high school girls. This Technovation Girls, it's international technology and entrepreneurship education program that equips young women from age 13, 18 with the skills they need to become tech entrepreneurs and leaders. And actually this program began in Georgia in 2016. So now it's done for 5th year, but this is the first time Ilia State University is a partner of this program. We really hope that a lot of girls will participate into that because in this program, because the Georgia Innovation and Technology Agency is also a partner here, so they can help with make it more spread. So we'll involve different volunteer mentors, and girls will work in teams to develop technology projects that address and solve real-world challenges and problems in their communities. So it will be like it will start in January, and in summer they will have this interesting competition at GITA at Technopark Tbilisi. They will show their apps or AI prototypes, and they will pitch their ideas, and there will be chosen, winners. So this actually was created, this program was created in Silicon Valley in 2009, and now it's done in more than 100 countries. So I know we have, we heard a lot of inspiring talks from your partners, from GEN partners, how entrepreneurship is developed in their countries. It was really amazing and inspiring. And I think our country is also going there. We're doing different projects. Government is doing different projects. Banks are offering startup accelerations, and universities also have the small accelerators. But I also think that we should pay a lot of attention to schools and especially to girls and introduce more programs like that, and we will see great results in 5-10 years. Thank you, Tina. Thank you for organizing this, and I wish you a very successful Global Entrepreneurship Week.
Thank you very much, Nana, for everything you are doing for Georgian technology and innovation community, and especially for female entrepreneurs. This is really amazing. Everything you mentioned, you are engaged, you are involved. This is really great opportunity for young people, and thank you for that. Thank you to be with us. This is a great honor for us. And I know that Ilia State University is actively engaged in Global Entrepreneurship Week as well. So I wish you a successful week as well. So thank you again.
Thank you very much. Have a great week. Bye.
Goodbye. I would say goodbye to all of you, and we will come back again with some news tomorrow. Bye-bye.